Okay, horse, this looks good. Okay, seals, if they're not hard, you can reuse them. This seal doesn't look too bad either. If it's not hard, it should work. Alright, now from here inside in the bottom here, I believe there's going to be a filter in here. Okay, I can't remember. Let's see, let me think here. There's either a brass piece and a filter beneath it, or there's just a filter. I don't know if that's a brass piece in the bottom, but either way, you have to get all that out of there. And here's how you're going to do it. Okay, this is what you screw in, you adjust for your flame. Here, you can see the little hole down inside the valve. You need to go to a welding shop, someplace that has welding supplies, and you need to get one of these right here. These are for torch, like acetylene torches. And what these do, this has got a bunch of different size tip cleaners. These are for cleaning holes out. You're going to use the smallest one that's available on this, and you're going to stick it down in that hole, the hole inside that valve, and you're going to push down until you get the filter and stuff out, and maybe the brass, if there's a brass sleeve behind it underneath from the other side, you're going to stick that down there and push that out. Okay? This seal is probably reusable. Put some silicone grease on it or something before you tighten the valve back down. Everything looks good here. This is good. There's your seal again. Okay, everything looks good. You got a good job taking it apart, but there's a sponge you're going to have to buy. Let me get my sponges out here. You're going to have to replace the sponge in this lighter, because chances are that's what's plugged up, is a sponge in here. As far as getting this out, you need to grab you something like this, is what I use. Okay? Sometimes you might have to file this down if the valve, if this is too big, you might have to file it down. I use that to get it out. Chances are you might be able to reuse the O-ring. You might have to replace it. Then you're gonna, once you get the valve out, then you can unscrew the back side of it, and there's a cup that unscrews, a spring inside the cup. Then the cup fits over the valve. It's inside. It's got a little rubber washer on it. If it's leaking there, that rubber washer needs to be replaced. So you're going to have to buy some of them leather hole punches. You can probably get some in China there, and get you a sheet of Buna grade rubber as thin as you can get, probably a millimeter or a half millimeter, and you need to measure and make sure. Well, let me see here. Okay, let me just get a valve out here. It's not the same. It's not going to be the same valve, but you might have an understanding how it's going to work. This valve is smaller, okay? When you pull these out, the valve you're going to have is going to be bigger. This here part will unscrew. It'll unscrew. So you have a spring right there. And you have this centerpiece. you have to pull that centerpiece out. And there's a little bitty rubber washer in there. Sometimes they get real hard, and when they do, they leak. So you have to replace that. And in order to get the right size, you're going to have to get some Boona rubber, a sheet of Boona rubber. You don't need much. Get a small one. Maybe someone you know's got some. A 1/2 millimeter. I wouldn't get no more than a 1/2 millimeter thickness. You could possibly use, you're just going to, I don't know if you can get a rubber washer, but you might be able to use a rubber washer too. You just got to see is that sheet of rubber's got to fit tight around the pin on the inside. Anyway, this is good. And you're going to have to get a sponge. This is out of a disposable lighter. Okay, you can get these out of a disposable butane lighter by tearing it apart. Alright, then you're going to have to cut it to size. And it's if you get a little brass extension out of here, if you got brass in here, you'll have to pull out, then the sponge will go beneath it. And you'll put the brass sleeve on top of it. But that could be the sponge. I'm not for sure. It could be brass. If it's brass, the sponge goes beneath it. If not, then it's just a sponge. Then you're just going to stick this back in. Lubricate these seals here. They might need to be replaced. I don't know. But you can use all different various sizes. I'm sure, you can find something over in China. China sells a lot of that stuff on eBay, so you can possibly get that. But that looks good, and like I said, get one of these at a welding shop or a hardware store and poke down this hole, because you got to clean that. That plug, what's happened is that seal down there, that filter is just plugged up, okay? Sometimes everything gets stuck down in there and it doesn't work. So you're doing good there. It looks good. If you have any questions, send me another email.